What's going on, Dolph fans? It is your boy Dillon, and I am here to do my final Week 13 quick hit scouting report video. It is for the New Orleans Saints. Real quick before I do, though, I decided that I'm going to expand on my draft class analysis a little bit because I actually want to go a little bit more in depth, or at least I already did, but I want to, bring it up on the screen. So I'm actually going to do over the next 6 weeks, I'm going to do one draft class at a time, and I'm actually going to, because when I looked through it, obviously I looked to see if these guys are still in the league and how they're contributing, etc. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take each draft class, I'm going to go player by player, and I'm actually going to pull up for you so you can see it visually, and we're going to break down each of these players' stats. We're going to see exactly what they did for us and how they performed for us while they were here, and if and what they are doing for other teams after having left. So I'm going to do that, but for now, let's go ahead and jump into this video. So pop on over here. The Saints did lose to the now 8-4 Dallas Cowboys. They dropped to 5-7. They lost 27-17. And let's go ahead and break this down a little bit further. So New Orleans had 405 total yards, allowing 377. They had 252 through the air, allowing 231. They had 153 on the ground, allowing 146. They had 5.9 yards per play to the 5.8 they let up. And it's funny because, as you can see, they actually won a lot of these categories, just not the one that mattered most when it comes to points. No team lost a fumble. I forgot to pause the video again. Let's see. And it fucked with my thing. No team lost a fumble. Dallas threw one interception, and then the 4 New Orleans interceptions. Obviously, that was one of the big differences there. They did let up 2 sacks and got one of their own. They were 35% on third down, only allowing 15%. They had the ball for 31-54, allowing 28-06. They had 7 penalties to the Dallas 5. Obviously, those 4 interceptions were huge. I'm actually going to talk about Taysom Hill in just a minute because obviously there's this big conversation. There's been this battle, and Chris Sims has said some things, and apparently that he's better than Tua and whatever, blah blah blah. I don't really care about these national media pundits and these fucking clowns in the media, and national media in particular. I'm not a fan of mainstream national media when it comes to anything, whether it be sports or politics, because it's all bullshit, and the only thing they care about is profits and pushing certain narratives and agendas. So I don't give a shit about any of that, but I will talk about the comparison in just a minute. So let's go ahead and break this down further. Taysom Hill was 19 of 41 for 264, 2 touchdowns, and the 4 interceptions. He also had 11 rushes for 101 yards and a 9.2 average. Mark Ingram threw in 10 for 28 and a 2.8, and Ty Montgomery 4 for 21 and a 5.3. Deontay Harris led the way in receiving, 4 of 8 for 96 and a score. Lil Jordan Humphrey, 2 of 2, 49 and a score. Nick Vannett, 3 of 4, 48. Juwan Johnson, 1 for 27. Traquan Smith, 2 of 7 for 15. Marquez Callaway, 1 of 4 for 13. So real quick, this is a game that I'm still kind of on the fence about. As far as whether or not we can get a win, but I am still leaning, same thing with Tennessee, I am still leaning towards a loss when it comes to what I think is going to happen. Obviously, I hope that that's not the case, and I hope we can continue the streak when we get there. Obviously, we have to beat the Jets this upcoming week, but hopefully we will be able to continue the streak and make a push for the playoffs, etc. But this one I am still kind of on the fence about, and am slightly leaning towards as a loss. We do play in New Orleans. It's a home game for them. It's on Monday night, but we'll see how it plays out when we get there. All right, now let's jump into the Cowboys and what this defense allowed. They allowed Dak Prescott to go 26 of 40, 238, a touchdown with an interception. Tony Pollard, 7 rushes, 71 yards, a touchdown, and a 10.1 average. Ezekiel Elliott, 13 rushes, 45 yards, and a 3.5. CeeDee Lamb, 1 for 33. In the receiving game, CeeDee Lamb led the way, 7 of 13 for 89. Dalton Schultz, 5 of 5 for 43. Amari Cooper, 2 of 2, 41. Michael Gallup, 5 of 9 for 36 and a score. Noah Brown, 2 of 3 for 14. And Malik Turner, 1 for 10. So the thing I want to say about Taysom Hill is this. I actually think that Tua is the better quarterback overall. I think Tua has, the higher ceiling when it comes to a pure quarterback. The big difference between Tua and Taysom Hill is that Taysom Hill is capable of doing a lot of other things. He is capable of playing as receiver. He is capable of playing as running back. He is better with his legs than Tua is in that department. So there is that. I actually do like Taysom Hill overall as a player. I mean, do I necessarily want him to be like my franchise quarterback? I don't know about that. Probably not, and I would certainly take Tua over him. But let me say this. When we do play the Saints, I would much rather have Trevor Siemian in the game than Taysom Hill. And I think that people are overblowing his 4 interceptions a little bit, because when you look at the context with which those interceptions were thrown, every single one of them came in the second half of the game, either in, the middle to late third quarter or fourth quarter, when they were down by like 17 points, right? So down by at least a couple scores. He also had injured his middle finger, a slight fracture on his middle finger earlier on in the game. So this, a similar injury to what Tua had to play through. So that was a factor. Obviously they were missing guys like Alvin Kamara and stuff like that. So there are a bunch of factors into it. I think that, people are overblowing it, and, some people are overblowing it and saying that, oh, fucking Taysom Hill sucks and so on and so forth. I think it's very situational, and a lot of it is situational. Does that mean that the throws were, not his fault at all? No, of course not. He obviously has blame and responsibility for those throws and those interceptions, but the context with which they were thrown and at the point of the game, etc., that is important to take into account. And if you're going to do that kind of analysis for Tua or Brady or Mahomes or Trey Lance or Zach Wilson or Trevor Lawrence or whoever it is, you got to be consistent, right? And so I think that they're overblowing that a little bit. Like I said, when it comes to who I'd rather face, I'd much rather have Trevor Siemian, because I do think that Taysom Hill does give them the better opportunity to win. But again, and I do think that in some regards, Taysom Hill is a better player, but again, that's only when it comes to, but you're never going to want or ask Tua to be a receiver or a running back, right? And okay, he's better with his legs, like Josh Allen is better with his legs, or Lamar Jackson is better with his legs. Okay, but that's not who Tua is. He does use his legs when he needs to, but his quick release, his mastery over the RPO system, his ability to manipulate the pocket, his accuracy, his anticipation, right? Those are his elite traits, right? Those are his things. That's his skill set, right? He's not a running quarterback. So but this is why I hate the comparison between players, especially when they're in very different situations, because it's ridiculous to me. But anyway, that's what I have to say about that. Let me go ahead and finish this up. Let me go through these league standings. The Saints are currently 24th in the league in total yards with 3,808. They're 23rd in per game average at 317.3. They're 28th in total passing at 2,573. 27th in per game average at 214.4. They're 15th in rushing with 1,376 total, 114.7 per game. They're 18th in points with 274 total, 15th after ties, and 22.8 per game, 14th after ties. They're 22nd in third down conversion percentage at 37.8. Real quick, I do want to say that again, I do believe that week 14 is the last week of buys. So after week 14, league standings should balance back out, a bit, because at least as far as from the perspective of, there shouldn't be any more, teams that have played less games or more games or what have you. All right, defensively, they do have a pretty good defense. They're not spectacular. They're like middle of the pack overall, but they do have some pretty good categories. Now, passing defense, that's obviously where we would potentially have, some opportunities. By the way, Salvan Ahmed got put on the COVID list. Now, we know that Myles Gaskin got put on yesterday. Salvan Ahmed got put on today. Patrick Laird just got recently put onto IR. So our running back room is getting very, very thin. Now, those two guys on COVID certainly could come back for the Jets game, but there is also a potential that they are not back. It just depends, because they both tested positive for COVID-19. They weren't close contacts. They tested positive. Now, I do believe they are both vaccinated, and that does change the protocols, and they could come, based on the protocols, they could come back sooner, as if they were, or rather, as compared to if they were unvaccinated, right? So there is that. Wanted to let you guys know, but that is something obviously to keep an eye on. Not that we're able to run the ball anyway, and obviously this is the Saints that we're talking about. We play the Jets in the upcoming week, but just something to keep an eye on, and I did want to mention that. Anyway, they're currently 14th in yards per game, though. The Saints are at 346.5. They are 22nd in passing, and again, this is probably where we would want to be able to try and take advantage. They're at 280.6 per game. They are 5th in rushing, although we've proven that we can't rush against any team regardless of how good or bad their rushing defense is. So, we probably won't have any rushing yards, or barely any rushing yards, maybe like 40, 50, 60 or some shit like that when we play the Saints. They are the 5th overall rushing defense at 96.4. They're currently 19th in points per game at 23, 16th after ties. They're 14th in takeaways with 17, 9th after ties. 5th in interceptions with 14, 4th after ties. Not very good in the fumbles department. They're 31st with only 3, 10th after ties. Not particularly great in sacks. 23rd with 26 on the season, 9th after ties. They are good in the passes defense category, 5th on the season with 61, 4th after ties, and they're pretty good at third down defense, letting up 39.3%, which is 15th. And of course, as always, here are the Dolphins' current offensive and defensive league standings. They are updated through the full slate of games, so obviously with Thursday, the first game of week 14 that was played, the Steelers and Minnesota. So, by the way, we did get some help with the Steelers losing in that game as far as playoff projections and stuff go, but we'll talk about that more later. All right, gonna wrap up, get out of here. Let me say before I do, make sure you guys check out the Rave On Sports App, new fan-driven sports app for all your sports, basketball, baseball, football, college sports, whatever you like, they got it. And they are looking to enhance your game day experience with live play-by-play coverage, live chats with other fans and content creators like myself. Look for the links to that in the description box. And with that, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you guys appreciate my perspective. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Share my channel and videos with your friends and family. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comments section. And of course, as always, follow me on Twitter at DillonTartaro, as well as Instagram at Dolphins_with_Dillon. And with that, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you guys, I'm going to get out of here. See you guys soon. Fins up.